And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. If it's your first time here, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. You will also see some of the books by our next guest, including a brand new one out today. We're excited to welcome back Dr. Velma Bagby to our broadcast. You guys know her as the best-selling author of the Catch series. Well, now it's the Catch series with an additional one with her newest book. We have it highlighted for you guys in the carousel on Amazon, The Catch Book of Fools. I have mine here on my Kindle. You guys can get yours for 99 cents today. And guess what? You can get all the books in the Catch series on Kindle for only 99 cents. We have them lined up for you guys in the carousel here. We'll talk more about that here in a bit. Hello to you, Jacqueline. Jacqueline's joining us on the Amazon side. We'll also welcome us joining us already on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. The chat is open. So if you guys have any questions or comments for Dr. Velma, make sure you guys put those in the chat for us. But Dr. Velma, hello to you and welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I mean, I'm trying to keep my eyes open because I've been up several times this morning trying to get this thing going.
Well, look, you have it going. Congratulations on the newest book, book 4 in the series. Glad to be able to have it here on my Kindle. We're going to actually be discussing some of this book, but I want to talk about how we got here, first of all. How does it feel to have book 4 in the series that you didn't intend on writing to have it out today, Dr. Velma?
No. You know, when you're an inspirational writer, you write based on what you've been inspired to do. And so my prayer has always been my Proverbs 3:6 scripture, that I want God to always direct my path. I might think I have the right idea, but it's good to do a double check and see what it is he'd like for me to do. My plan was to release a different book because I've been working on one that I thought I was going to release next. But 2 weeks ago, I got the prompt to release this, take the content on all of the Catch series. We touch upon the importance of understanding red flags, and the fool and foolish behavior was and is a common thread throughout all of the books. And I just felt led that I needed to release the actual scripture so people can see that this is not a fallacy. This is actually what God has given us, whether it's business relationships or intimate relationships or a person that you want to marry eventually. These scriptures really apply to behavior that you want to be aware of.
Yeah, such a great point. Hello to you, Melissa, joining us on Facebook. She says hello to you, Dr. Velma, as well. Dr. Velma, that's the biggest point to me that I want to begin with this conversation with, because I am not looking to get married anytime soon. Okay, so I'm not. When I read your series, that part of the series is not something I'm really drawn to. I am drawn to the broader messages of the series. And that's exactly what you're talking about with book number 4. And that is, a fool is a fool is a fool. Regardless of whether we're talking about relationships, business,
whatever,
family, whatever it might be. What has that conversation been like for you? Hey, Alicia, good to be able to see you over on Facebook. What has that conversation been like for you to have with people that, regardless of whether we're talking about personally or professionally, there are things we have to be aware of with people?
Right. It's the same conversation I have with many of the women. Before we even get into the conversation about who's the right mate for you, we start talking about what is it that you feel about yourself? Have you embraced who God says you are? I have on my shirt today, Woman of Worth. And that I start the conversation there, because even if you're not looking for someone, you really need to begin with making sure you've embraced who you're supposed to be. And you talk a lot about that all the time, Cyrus, with your focus, your goal, your purpose. Why are you here? What is it you're supposed to be doing? What audience are you serving? All of that. Do you have that already? Do you understand that about yourself? And so we always begin the conversation there, even before we get to who is a potential mate. And then back to something you said, you're absolutely right. You should be in that place where you're not looking, because God will set it up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's not
exactly.
something you can force. God will set it up, the right timing, all of that, the right person. It will be all Him. And it's not something we can just get out there and force to happen.
Yeah. When you said that, I thought about Ruth. And I think, there are so many great examples that we have of just that. A lot of times when you're not looking,
Yeah.
that's when you will be able to be in the position you're supposed to be in. Hello to you, Norma. Good to be able to see you over on the Facebook side. So, for those who are brand new to you and I have these conversations, Dr. Velma, we're going to get into book 4. But for those who aren't familiar with book 1, I'm going to highlight it in the carousel of Amazon, the Kindle edition that's on sale right now for 99 cents. How did this all start? How did the Catch series even begin?
Well, you and I have talked about it. I've had years, over 30 years of just counseling with single women. My husband was a pastor for over 10 years, and he and we had to conduct pre-marriage counseling sessions. Just the conversations and watching the behavior of women over the years has just been appalling to me, really. Just what we have decided to settle in and accept in terms of our approach to discovering who that mate will be. And it's really sad. And so in that, I wanted to write about it. I wanted to address some of those things, and I couldn't figure out what would be the best way. I was a nonfiction writer initially, but I was led to move into the Christian contemporary fiction genre, just so that I can adopt the same type of storytelling that Jesus had with the parables. And a lot of people in the Christian community don't warm up to anything outside of nonfiction. But I wanted to take the same approach he did, because he always presented his stories in a way that didn't intimidate, didn't hit the person over the head with a scripture. He just wanted to share a story that they can then discover themselves, their issue or problem in the story. And then built into the story, he provided a way of escape. And so he was never intimidated to anyone. So how do I take the truth and help women to understand what they should be doing, and to stop applying this high school dating method, which is what the world practices right now, which is only 200 years old, and then go back and look at what God has already given us, over 2,000 years old. He's given us the blueprint, but we're not applying it, not using it. And so that's how I fell into this pattern. I used the fish to describe the wrong men to date, and to apply the principles that I know that the word teaches us, without telling them the word says, this scripture says, this is what you need to do, without saying that, just weaving those stories in the way that Jesus weaved the parables.
Yeah, such a great point. Jacqueline on Amazon says phenomenal series, and definitely is. Now, I got a chance. You sent me an early copy of it, Dr. Bama, of course, when it came out today. I got my Kindle edition, so I have it here on Kindle. We're going to walk through some of the scriptures. It was interesting hearing you talk just now, because like you said, you were able to write the first 3 books of the series as a story. Hey, Chris, good to be able to see you over on Facebook as well. You were able to write the first 3 books as a story, a fictional story, talking about very real situations. What was it like for you to go back to the beginning for you in many ways as a writer, of writing nonfiction with this new book?
I never left. I'm an ordained minister. I do preach the word, but so the word is just comfortable for me. That's where I am. I am in the world of nonfiction all the time. We're trained to expound upon the scripture, not to insert your personal opinion, not to insert anything youthful or mainstay in the modern world. Just expound upon what the word says. And so this was freeing for me, really, because this is where I live. So I was happy to do it, but God gave me 2 weeks to do it, and that was a press.
Yeah. So let's get into some of these scriptures, and we're going to go to the first one, Proverbs 23:9. For those who have the Kindle edition, it's on page 50. And the topic you have here, Dr. Bam, is hates hearing godly wisdom. Anything that makes sense, he'll reject. What does this mean to you? So I want to talk about the way the book is written. So for those who don't know what Dr. Velma does, she gives us a scripture. She then has a prompt there, and then she has a place for notes. and a place for personal reflection. So talking about Proverbs 23:9, Dr. Velma, hates hearing godly wisdom. That's pretty self-explanatory. But
Yes.
talk to us. but,
Yes, it is.
but talk to us about the flag. I don't know if I should call it a flag or a flame.
They all are.
That should be for people if you're having someone, male or female, who is showing that type of quality.
Well, again, going back to kind of the message in the stories, Pastor Grayson always said, and he hinted on all of these, many of these scriptures that we're going to be looking at. He hinted on it because it's still contemporary fiction. But it's important for us to understand that people need to know what God said originally. And even when I did the research, Cyrus, I researched and found out there's over 200 references to fools and foolish behavior. And my thought was, wow, why did God feel that was so important that he had to include that many references? And so that was the issue that I had here, that women are now with the high school dating that they use, rather than using more of the dating for marriage strategy that God teaches us in his word. By looking at these and understanding these right away, you will see what you just said, the red flag, RED, retreat, extremely dangerous. Those are to get your attention if a person is exhibiting this kind of behavior. But what we do is we fall in love or become attracted to what we see rather than what we should be examining in terms of the person's life and heart. And these scriptures really get to the root of it. Because if you got a person who hates wisdom, even the wisdom that you might share with them, they could reject. They just hate wisdom.
Right. Hello to you, Gregory. Gregory says, I totally love these shows. We're glad to hear that. Gregory, glad that you enjoy them. Let me reset because we're already halfway through, Dr. Bama. For those who just come you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon. This is what happens every time. And also, we want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. We're talking to best-selling author Dr. Velma Bagby today about her newest book in the Catch series, The Catch Book of Fools. It's on sale right now, the Kindle edition for 99 cents. She has all the Kindle editions of this series, so all 4 books are 99 cents, so you guys can get those here on Amazon. If you guys are not joining us on the Amazon platform and you're joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter, you'll see the link that will bring you over to Amazon to be able to get those for yourself. So, Dr. Velma, let me move on. I won't spend too much time on that one. I'm going to go to our next one that I wanted to talk about, and that is on page 57 for those who have the book. Lips of a fool destroys him, Ecclesiastes 10:12. And your prompt you have here is, his words will bring destruction. How does this affect you? Now, again, this is another more than a red flag for that. Talk to us about this one, Dr. Velma, and the lessons here. And I also want to, if you don't mind, let me double up on the question a bit. This one and the last one, I think it amazes me that there are people, men and women, I should say, who would still say, oh, I can change them, though. Yeah, they may do this, but I can change them. Talk to us about this prompt, his words will bring destruction. How does this affect you? And the danger of thinking that you can be able to change someone who is in this position.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. That's a mentality that many people have. They feel, and not only that, but he's so handsome, though. How about that? Just ignore the red flag, but he's still handsome. That's not the make or her. She's argumentative, but she's so cute. That's the silliness we apply to mate seeking in a way, that we just need to pay attention to these. And who wants someone whose words is devastating to you? He'll tear down your house, like the book behind me. He'll tear it down with his words. He'll mess up his reputation and yours with his words. So it's very destructive, including your own self-esteem, your own personal worth. He'll tear you down too.
Right. Yeah. Jacqueline says, always a good time with these two. I appreciate that, Jacqueline. We have a good time, but we, as my grandmother would say, we tarry too long sometimes on one.
We gotta watch the clock.
So we gotta remember this is the show here. But this next one's an interesting one, Dr. Velma. For those who have the book, page 68, makes his fortune unjustly. Jeremiah 17:11. And the prompt you have is, honesty is what we want in a mate. Would you marry a thief? Now, I'm so glad this.
What is that saying, Cyrus?
Well, there's a lot I could say, but I'm going to try to be nice to our audience out there, because for some people, the answer may not be what we would want it to be.
Right, right.
If they're going to be benefiting from it. But I'm going to try to go the other way and say, of course, we wouldn't want to marry a thief. So, talk to us about this, and again, what you need to know. What I thought about when I read this one, Dr. Velma, is this means you gotta take your time and get to know the person first, because this is not something you're going to know from the very beginning. So talk to us about that, about the importance of actually getting to know a person, how they are, not only with you, but also in their business dealings as well.
Right. You got to see, that's one of the qualities you want in a person, their integrity. Are they upstanding? Are they honest? Those are some of the things you want to see. And sometimes you have to ask those questions, or even engage and watch them engage in business. See some of the examples of what they do. But integrity is so important. And again, anything that you're looking for in terms of the opposite of these examples should be on your list. The opposite of a thief is someone who's honest, someone who's truthful, someone who's committed, someone who has a high degree of integrity. Those are the opposite to that. And that's what you should be looking for.
Such a great point. And again, that's why I think, Dr. Velma, going back to the series overall, the importance of actually getting to know the person.
Absolutely.
Right? And even as we saw in the Catch No One Wants with Veronica and Grayson, like when we talked about the goldfish, how Veronica said she'd never seen one that looked like that before. She hadn't get to know there were different types.
Absolutely.
So it really shows that importance. So if you guys have not read the other books, that's why it's so good that Dr. Velma has all the Kindle books for 99 cents. This is a great opportunity for you guys to catch up on the series. And then, of course, this book will be a great complement to it as well. Dr. Velma, this next one you called the mic drop, and that was on page 80. And this was an interesting one. I chose this one outside of the one I was going to choose because there's certain words I can't say here on Amazon. So I chose not to use, but I did choose this one. A fool has a perverted mouth, Proverbs 19:1. And then the prompt you have, Dr. Velma, is, does this pervert speak with integrity or truth? First of all, if you're calling them a pervert,
is that a key right there? Is that a key?
Look, yeah, that should be a key there. But I want you to talk about this one, why you chose to include this one of the other ones you could have included, and what you hope the reader takes away from it, Dr. Velma.
Because we can't discount how the person sounds or the words that they use. We can't discount that, no matter what that person looks like, no matter what other positive things he might bring to the table, or she. You must examine this person's character. And remember, this is the book of fools. And if God classifies any one of these individuals in here, and you find this in a person, you need to run, Forrest, run. I'm not using the red, RED, retreat, extremely dangerous. These are saying to you that you really need to examine the characteristics of this person. And that's something we have failed to do. Women used to do it years ago. We were better at it. We have fallen away from it, but we really need to go back. Men need to learn it, because too, there are foolish women out there as well. And I included some of the scriptures related to females. And even though it doesn't say specifically a gender, in many cases, these scriptures apply to everybody.
Apply to everyone, right? Alicia says, I'm going to get those. Gone, girl.
Thank you, Alicia.
It is. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot in here. I'm gonna look like we have time for a bonus, Dr. Velma. So this is on page 83. So I had said if I had time, I wanted to include this one. A chattering fool comes to ruin, Proverbs 10:8. And I love the prompt for this one. Babbling and running his mouth will end in destruction. What say you?
Right.
Let me tell you about the way you phrase these, Dr. Velma, that I like. Because the truth is the truth is the truth, as we talked about. Right? But a lot of times that could be true, but we still try to justify it.
That's the point. Yes.
And the way you phrase this, babbling and running his mouth will end in destruction. That's a
Mhm.
fact.
Yes.
But then for you to ask, what say you?
Right.
Shows that both men and women will sometimes say, well, yeah, that may be true, but you know what I'm saying? But this,
He
what do you
still
want?
has a good heart. She still
Right,
has a
exactly.
good heart. And
Right.
that's the problem we run into. You see the very first red flag and you still go. You keep
Yeah.
going. You keep pursuing. When this is telling you, you're looking at a fool, you're talking to a foolish person. And I just want to say that it's not my definition of a fool. It's God's definition of a fool. He's the righteous judge and the one that's able to judge everyone. So I'm not here writing this book to judge anyone.
Yeah.
I'm only sharing with you how God judges a person's character,
Right.
because he too looks on the heart and not the exterior and the outward appearance. Otherwise, the little ruddy David they called into the party after the party got started would not be the one that God had chosen. And that's what happened in this case. He didn't look the part.
Yeah.
But all the other brothers did. But the other brothers weren't the one that God wanted. They wanted David. And so it's important for us to really examine the heart of the person.
Mm-hmm. And I will say too, Dr. Velma, and I'm curious to see your thoughts about this, to examine our heart too, because
Yeah.
a lot of times the reason why we put up with something, there's still something in us that we need to work on too. That we do not, that we have, even though we're reading what Scripture may say, if we're trying to justify it ourselves,
Yep.
that says something about us too.
Absolutely. And by conversations with women when they want to know why they keep attracting the same guy, I said, you need to check your heart, because if you're attracting the same guy, there's something in you that's drawing them. If you change what they're attracted to, then you'll change the behavior and the type of person that will come towards you. And that's the reason I talk about examining her heart before we even talk about finding a mate. It's important, whether it's the male or the female. Do a self-examination of you, making sure that you're not carrying any baggage and weight around so that you're not attracting the wrong type of mate.
Oh, there's one that when you said that, it came to me, and now I probably
Uh-oh.
need to find it. No, it came to me. It's probably a good thing too. But that it didn't. But
Well, we can research the word.
let's see. But there's let's see. When you said that just now, let me see. Okay, yeah. Okay, I got it.
What
Okay,
page?
so it is, the page is 88. Yes, Proverbs 16:18b. Arrogance and haughtiness before their fall. Pride and arrogance go hand in hand. The result is their fall or destruction. And I think what I thought about with this is about what Jesus said about the blind leading the blind. They're both falling into the ditch. I think that again. You know, a lot of times we can allow someone's personality to blind us, their looks to blind us, and we end up going down a course that we know is not the right one.
Right.
But then we want to play the victim, which we're not going to get into that at this
Yes. Or the blame. Or the blame is always the other person's fault, not yours, because you attracted them.
Yeah, even though it was there all the time,
Absolutely.
Exactly. So, Dr. Velma, I want to ask you, what is your hope as people read the book? What do you hope it does for them in moving forward?
What I hope it does is just that they get the same aha moment I got when I discovered the over 200 references that God made. That if he took the time to include all of those, there must be a reason for it, that he was trying to help us avoid dating a fool, becoming a fool, even marrying a fool, if we just pay attention to the descriptions he's provided us. And that was the hope that's what I hope people get from it, that you get the same aha moment. Wow, this was right there. Wow, this is the care. I remember meeting someone like that, but paying attention to what you do. Stop falling in love with what you see, because you really need to get to know who that person is. And once you get to know the character of the person, then those are the things you want to start falling in love with, but not just what you see on the outside. It'll fool you every time.
Exactly. Again, everyone, Dr. Velma Bagby has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Dr. Velma. First of many I know about the new book. Again, The Catch Book of Fools. You guys can see it there. Brand new, hot off the Kindle press for only 99 cents right now. So you can get your copy right now on Amazon. We do have it highlighted for you guys there. Also, all of the books in the Catch series, the Kindle editions, are only 99 cents as well. You all can get those as well. Dr. Velma, I appreciate you. I know you have some other things that are coming up. We're going to talk about on some other platforms that you're doing around this series. But how can our audience stay connected with you?
I'm on all the social media platforms, so feel free to look for Dr. Velma Bagby, Dr. Velma Bagby, or go to my website, drvelmabagby.com.
All right, Dr. Velma, always a pleasure. Great conversation. And looking forward to our next chat together.
That's all right. Chase him, Jesus.
Oh my goodness, we thank your audience for tuning in. Another great segment of conversation.
Cyrus.
Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.